Hi crew, I'm back in my backyard for lesson 2 of the history of Skull Valley. We were just learning about the Yuman or the Patayan rock art, depending on which archaeologist you talk to. And descendant from them were the Sinagua in this area and the Hakataya. And the Sinagua were maybe a little bit more north of here, and they were farmers and grew crops, and the Hakataya were more hunter-gatherers and maybe raised a few crops, corn and the like, when they could, when the climate was right. Now, descended from them were the Tolkapaya, and all of these native cultures were here and occupied about 20,000 square miles of the northwestern Arizona area that we live in. Now, the Tolkapaya subset into different groups. The Yavapai is one of them, and the Yavapai were here right before the Westerners came, or the settlers came west, I should say. Now, the Yavapai that lived out here in this area, they wore buckskin, and the men had nose piercings and body paint and tattoos. The elders were the law in the tribe. They made all the big decisions. They had headmen that were people in the tribe who had made really good decisions and made good choices and done good deeds. And they were advisors to the tribe and to the elders, but the elders were law. What they said went. They ate. They practiced shamanism. They had rituals for curing, and they prayed to the sun. And their myths concerned a lot of the supernatural. When their dead passed away, they would burn them, but they didn't have any really big rituals around it. They just cremated their dead, and they collected acorns and piñons and juniper and skunk bush berries, and they would store the acorns for a few months because they tasted better after that, and the juniper berries they would crush and mold into cakes, which they would store for later. And the skunk bush berries and the manzanita berries they would pound also and mix with water and sort of make a beverage out of it. Now, you might be wondering, like, they didn't have Cuisinart, so how did they do all this pounding and scraping and processing of their food? And I can show you, because when we moved into our house and cleared away all the brush and the leaves, we found these metates, or mortars, that the Native Americans had used in this area to process their food. Now, from what I've read, they found them left behind by the ancients. So some of these mortars might have actually been used by the humans or Patayans. So I feel kind of weird because the person who lived here obviously collected these from somewhere and kind of like stealing. Hopefully someday I will maybe donate them to a museum or some place like that would use them for education. But for now, I am going to show them to you. There are a couple. I hope they're in focus. I think they use differently shaped rocks for different types of pounding. This is a really big one. This one is one of my favorites because you can see the ridges on the side and how they went back and forth. This one too. This appears to be some sort of pinch pot, maybe, that they made smaller little batches of something in. This is a sculpture my husband made. Now this one's interesting because it kind of has a little handle on it. Maybe they kind of held it like this and pounded like that. Now, even though these were taken from somewhere in this area, I know a little bit farther down the wash where there are some grinding holes that no one is going to move. I'll take you down and show you why.